All right, for number 11, they would like for us to determine which similarity statement is true for this picture. The first thing I would do is mark the congruent angles. And in order to do that properly, we don't normally do this, but we're going to assume that PQ is parallel to ST. Again, normally we won't assume parallel, but in this one, that's the only way it's going to work. I think that was accidentally left off. So first things first, we see that PRQ is vertical with SRT, so let's mark those congruent. And then P is going to be congruent with T because of alternate interior angles. And then that leaves Q to be congruent with S. So now that I know what angles are congruent, if I look at any answer choice, they both start off with PQR. So it's a matter of matching the letters. So since P comes first, it matches T. So that means I could automatically eliminate A and B. All right, so now when I look at C, Q comes second, and Q matches with S. So that would eliminate choice D. And that leaves us with C. PQR is similar to TSR. Now it wants us to find the value of X. When I look at the picture, X is right here on PQ, which is proportional with TS. And then I would, since most of you don't like fractions anywho, let's avoid them by using QR and SR to set up our proportions. So again, I said PQ is to TS as QR is to SR. So in other words, 4x is to 2 as 18 is to 3. And now we can cross multiply. Four x times 3 is 12x. 2 times 18 is 36. 36. And then divide both sides by 12, you would have x equals 3. Number 13, fill in the blanks for the definition of similar polygons. Which reads, two polygons are similar if and only if their corresponding blank are congruent. So that means angles would go here in the first blank. And corresponding blank are proportional. And that would be sides. So again, angles are congruent. Sides are proportional. You need to remember that fact. We can't stress that enough. So angles have to be congruent. And sides have to be proportional. Don't forget it. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Number 14, if x is equal to BE, which proportion could be used to solve for x? So let's mark it on the picture. Okay. So they give us this entire side for BC as 30. And then it tells us that BE, the smaller portion, is x. If we wanted to find EC, we would need to take the entire side, which is 30, and subtract the portion we already have, which is x. So let's see what proportions we have. We have 8 is to 17. So I'll highlight those. Well, I'm going to highlight the proportional pieces. So AD is proportional to BE. DC is proportional to EC. So now that I've highlighted it, I'm going to keep that coloring system the same when I read through these proportions. So I don't have any coloring system for anything in the first proportion other than 8 being yellow and 17 being blue. Well, X is also a yellow. So for the bottom part on this one, the second fraction, I would expect it to be blue, which my other blue piece is 30 minus X. So it cannot be F. All right, let's look at H. Again, let me color coordinate what I have. I have 8 is yellow. I don't, I could, but I didn't do it before. I could figure out what this entire side is, AC, by adding 8 with 17, and that would give me 25. So I'm going to make that a new color. So AC is going to be red, and so is BC. So I could have put it here. All right, so purple, purple, and then 30 minus X is blue. So in order for this proportion to have worked, H, I would have needed another yellow in the bottom right or another blue in the bottom left. So H won't work. Now let's color code again. I have 17, which is blue, X, which is yellow. So let me color code all of this, and maybe you'll see it better. 17 was blue, and then 25 and 30 were both purple. So again, my color coding system is off, so it can't be G either. So that must mean it has to be J as our final answer. But this is the reason why. Let me color code it for you and maybe you'll see. And I recommend using colors on this test to help those who are more visual. So 8 is yellow, X is yellow. 17 is blue, and 30 minus X is also blue. So that is a good thing to do. Have the parts that are highlighted the same, meaning they're proportional or located in the same spot. Would use the same color for those. It really does help. Trust and believe. All right, on number 16, it says in triangle ABC, DE is parallel to AC. They give us AD is 6, DB is 7, AC is 18, which is this piece here, and DE is X. Which proportion can be used for this? So on a situation like this where you're not given all 4 outer parts, for example, I would have needed CE and EB, and I don't have them. So since I don't have those, I recommend creating 2 separate triangles. So the bigger triangle will be A, B, C. And when you create them, label the vertices as well as the sides that they give you. So the smaller one is D, B, E. Right away, you should notice that they both share angle B. So that's going to be congruent right away. And then AC was 18. DE was X. DB was 7. And AB can be found by combining AD, which is 6, with DB, which is 7. So 6 plus 7 gives us 13. And once it's separated, now I would color code it. So AC and DE are proportional, or supposed to be proportional, which leaves us with AB and DB. So, using the color-coded system, let's look at our answer choices. Choice F. 18 was yellow, 7 was blue, 6 we didn't color code at all, X was yellow. So automatically you should see something wrong with this picture. I have similar colors going across from each other diagonally. That's not okay. Not in any situation. And then I got 2 that aren't even colored the same going diagonal. So that means F is wrong. All right, let's look at H. In H, we have 18, which is yellow. We have X, which is yellow. 13 is blue. And again, we have 6, which we didn't highlight. So had 6 been 7, that would have worked. But since it's not, scratch it off. Let's look at G. We have X. We have 18. They're both yellow. Good. And then we have 7, which is blue. And we have 13, which is also blue. And that works very well. So this is our correct answer, G. What you should notice is X and 7 are both from the small triangle, so that's okay. You put the 2 sides from the small triangle together, and then 18 and 13 come from the large triangle. I usually prefer to put small over large and small over large to prevent making a mistake, but this is totally fine as well. All right, number 15 says, given that triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF, what is the scale factor, or similarity ratio, from DEF to ABC? All right. So we have to find the scale factor, or similarity ratio. And the scale factor is found by taking the new, in this case, triangle, over the old. And you're just going to take one side from each, is all you need. You don't need to take the whole triangle. So we're going from DEF to ABC. So that means ABC is new and DEF is old. So it says from DEF to ABC. So that helps. So now I would probably highlight my proportional sides real quick. I know that the smallest side on ABC is 6, and it's supposed to be proportional with 4, which is the smallest side on DEF. So if I take these two, put the new side, which is 6, over my old side, which is 4, that's my scale factor. If you can reduce it, please do. But in most situations, you want to leave it as a fraction. So 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2. 3 over 2 is larger than 1, meaning my triangle got bigger. So you can write your ratio as a fraction. You can write your ratio using a colon, 3 to 2, or you can write it using the word 2, 3 to 2. So be aware that ratios can be written in 3 different ways. Don't forget that. On number 17, they want us to complete the similarity statement. So first things first, go ahead and mark our congruent angles. I see my vertical pair. Anytime you see a vertical pair, mark it immediately. Since these sides are parallel, that means M is congruent with Q. Those are alternate interior. And then L with P. So when I read the similarity statement, they started with M. And we know M is congruent with Q, so that must come first. Then they went to N second, so N is congruent with itself. And then that leaves P last. So triangle MNL is similar to triangle QNP. Number 18 would like for us to find QT. So let's call it X. So and again, you got to set up the correct proportion. So what you can do is left to left as right is to right. I recommend doing that way because it's kind of already set up like a fraction in the first place. So 24 over x is equal to 40 over 35. So that's one way. Or if you want to complicate it for yourself, you could say 24 is to 40 as x is to 35. But like I said, since it's already on top of one another, like a fraction, I would just take it as it appears originally. But choice is yours. So now multiply 40 and x, you get 40x. Multiply 24 with 35, and that's going to be a large number. Let's grab the handy dandy calculator. You get 840. And then I know already in advance I'm going to have to divide that by 40, so let's go ahead and do it now. And I get 21. So that was 40x is equal to 840. Divide both sides by 40, so x is equal to 21. And again, our job was to find QT, so QT is equal to 21. All right, on number 22, wants us to find the value of x as well. Hopefully you can see the proportional parts, but if you can't, we know that 24 is proportional with 18. And therefore, x is proportional with 13.5. So one way you could do this is 24 is to 18 as x is to 13.5. Another way to do it is use what it's already written as and make a fraction that way. So 24 over x is equal to 18 over 13.5. Either one is perfectly fine to give you the correct answer. So cross multiply 18 with x is 18x, and then 24 with 13.5. Which is 324, and then I will have to divide that by 18, and you get 18. So 18x is equal to 324. Therefore, x is equal to 18. All right, on number 19, it says ABC is similar to DEF. Find the measure of angle C. So on this one, you might want to mark up the congruent angles. So A is congruent with D. B is congruent with E. That's clearly shown on the picture. And lastly, C is congruent with F. So in DEF, I'm already given two of my three triangles. So if I add these two,